Hey, welcome back to day 2 of Tinkercad. We're going to spend another day learning a few different features in Tinkercad. Yesterday, if you've not completed that, you might want to go back and complete the Tinkercad Basics lesson first. And that will show you the basics of moving an object over, resizing it, duplicating it, and rotating it. Today, we are going to do a composite shape. You're going to use this in your Mars challenge because you're going to make your Mars base out of many different shapes of those basic shapes that you see in Tinkercad. And you're going to put them together to make one final figure, which will be your Mars base. So we're going to make a shape together. We're going to make this little Tinkercad guy. And I'm going to walk you through it step by step. So make sure that once you might pause this video once you get logged in, and then go back and forth and just kind of do it step by step. Remember, you can always rewatch the videos if you need help on a certain skill. So we are here. Again, if you're in art, you're going to click this link. Technology, you're going to click this link. And just a reminder that this is your username or your nickname to get into the class. One thing to let you know with Tinkercad, on the iPad, sometimes if you're having trouble moving an object around or resizing it or touching it, if you have a regular desktop or laptop computer, you can use Tinkercad on there. It's a lot easier to use with a mouse. So if you prefer, it still works on a regular computer. We'll still save just the same way to Google Classroom. If you do that, make sure that you sign in through the class link though. Either copy and paste this link or get into your Google Classroom and make sure you click the link. Do not sign in with Google. Okay, so I'm going to go into my art class. If you don't see this screen pop up to put your nickname in, then make sure you go back and get the right link. So mine is first letter of the first name, last name, 141. Again, this will open up to your dashboard. Sometimes it will automatically sign you in if you did not sign out last time. So this was our old one. It's still there. If we ever want to go back in, let me just show you that. Click on that and click Tinker this, and that will allow you to go back into something you've previously created and edit it in any way. So if you start your design one day and want to continue working with it. So, and if you're ever in a project and want to get back to the dashboard, this Tinkercad logo up here will get you right back to your dashboard and your project automatically saves. Sometimes it takes a while though. Okay, so today we're going to create a new design so we can make our Tinkercad Man. Okay, and again, it gives us a really weird name. Just make sure you rename it. We're going to rename it Tinkercad Man because that's what we're building, so we know what it is. This is our work plane. Remember, our work plane automatically starts in millimeters. We're going to go ahead and edit that to inches again, just to get you guys used to inches, since that's what we're going to be using in our Mars base. So we'll update grid. Oops. Okay, the next thing we need to do is we're going to start with the legs. So let's move a cylinder over. And those are way too fat. So let's click on that corner, and remember you can drag it to resize it, or you can type in the boxes. I'm going to type in the box. We're going to resize this to 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. So I'm going to put 0.5 by 0.5. And again, on the iPad it may look a little different. The box will actually pop up. I want 2 legs exactly the same size. Yesterday we learned about duplicate. That makes it much easier. So with that highlighted, I will go up here and click this duplicate button, which is like a pile of papers. It's right on top of it. Use your arrow keys to move it over. It makes it much easier. So we now have 2 legs exactly the same size right by each other. So the next step is going to bring a box over because this is going to be our body. We had our legs a 1/2 inch deep, so let's make the body also a 1/2 inch. And I'm not sure about the width yet. We'll see how it works. Now remember, these are 1 inch high, so we're going to raise that body up 1 inch. Yesterday we talked about that. Just grab this black triangle and pull it up. And then I'm just going to use my arrow keys to move it over. Ooh, it's not quite center. You remember how we could do that? I think that was the snap grid down here, and change the 1/8 to something smaller so it doesn't move as much and I can get it a little bit centered a little bit better. And then we're also going to move it up. Remember to look from all sides. That's your view cube that lets you do that. It looks pretty good to me. Okay, so here's what we're going to do next. I don't want this moving accidentally when I touch on it. So I'm going to select all the shapes. I'm going to touch on the box, one cylinder, the box, one cylinder, and then the next cylinder. And it should have all three of them highlighted. We have a group tool that's up here above the shapes. It looks like you have a square and a circle being put together. They group together. That will group all three of these shapes into one so they move as one shape and act as one shape. It also changes the color on you too. Okay, so that is now one shape. I can move it as one shape. The next step is the neck. We're going to do a cylinder for the neck. And let's make this a little bit smaller. Let's make our neck a 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch. So that would be 0.25 by 0.25. And let's make the height 0.25 also. Let's just keep it all the same. Okay. One thing that's good since I grouped these together, I know all together it's 2 inches high. So I know how high to raise my neck. Whoops. Oh, remember when it zooms out like that? I'm going to hit my home key, kind of get back to where I was at. Okay, so let's see, was that raised up 2 inches? There we go. Now, I'm going to show you a trick. I told you yesterday there are easier ways to center things instead of looking at all angles and using your arrow keys. If you have this shape highlighted, then go ahead and just touch the other shape, and I want to center this on that body. This is called an align tool, so it looks like a bar graph almost, these two boxes lined up above each other. When I click on that, it gives me 3 different ways to line this up. If I line it up this way, what it's going to do is it's going to bring this and this to the center. It's going to bring the middle of those together. I don't really want to do that because I want to move that over there. If I align it along my x-axis, it's going to bring this one in the center along this way, which is what I want. So I'm going to click that black dot right in the middle. But I also want to line it up back this way, because if I look at it from the side, it's not there yet. So that would be, and I want to center it. So I'm going to put the center dot right here, and you'll see if you just hover over it, it's going to kind of bring those two shapes together. So click that center black dot right there, and you have the neck perfectly centered. Let's go ahead and click the cylinder and the body. Make sure I got them. And we will group it together up here. You notice this is now highlighted. I can ungroup anything that I've grouped together, but I want to group these together. Okay, my next step here is I think we need a head on our guy. I'm going to bring a sphere over for the head. This is 2 1/4 inches high. So I'm going to raise this guy up 2 1/4 inches. And same thing, I can have that one highlighted. Click on this one, and I'm going to align this again. Again, I want to align it on my x-axis and my y-axis. So that is now perfectly centered on my neck. I don't want to align it up and down like this because you can see it's just going to squish it all together. If I try it and I do it, looks kind of funny. There's an undo button. Undo is perfect, but if you ever go out of the project, undo will not work if you go back in. So if you don't like something, undo it before you save it. Okay, let's go ahead and make that. We'll group them together again, make it all one shape. So we've learned that align tool is pretty nice to center things. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is I'm going to show you how to flip things, but let's go ahead and show you why we might need that. So I'm going to start building one of the arms. I'm going to bring a cylinder over. Let's make this the 1/4 by 1/4, so 0.25 by 0.25. And then you can shorten the arm if you want. I'm going to just kind of see what it looks like up there. Now I want this arm to stick out, so I want to rotate this 90 degrees. So I need to grab that arrow at the top, the curved arrow, and I need to rotate it 90 degrees. I can go either way. It's negative if I go to the left, it'd be positive if I went to the right. And I'm going to raise this up so it looks about right for my guy. And then I'm going to push it into the body as far as I want. When you actually 3D print things, it's very good to push things into another shape. That way they don't fall apart when you're printing. Like right now, these legs may not fully join to the body there because I didn't push them in. But we're just practicing today, so we're not actually going to print. Okay, so I've got that. Let's bring another cylinder over. I'm going to also make that one the 0.25 by 0.25. And we're going to have him like raising his hands in the air. So I'm going to bring that up and over just so it kind of attaches right there at the elbow. Look at it from the side and make sure you got it where you want it. So now I have an arm that's kind of raising up in the air. Let's click on the first cylinder and then touch the second cylinder. Let's make that a group up here. Now what I'm going to do with this is instead of building that again on the other side, I'm just going to duplicate it. And I'm going to move it over to the other side. Oh, but that doesn't look right because I need a mirrored image of it. But we have a tool for that. Right up here next to the Align tool, we have these two triangles, right? Triangles with a line in the middle of it. That's a mirror tool. If I click that, I can flip this. I can flip it up and down vertically. That isn't really what I wanted, so I'm going to push that back. I can flip it back here along my x-axis, but that doesn't really do anything. And I can flip it horizontally on my y-axis. That's what I wanted to do. Then I'm going to take this his arm, and push it in a little bit. So I have an arm on each side. Let's look at it from all angles, make sure I got them exactly where I want them. And then your final step here is to select the body, your right arm, your left arm, and group it together. This will change the color once it's all done here. So we now have our Tinkercad Man. I'm going to go back to the home. I might put it up a little bit because we're going to take a screenshot of this and we're going to insert it into that document that I shared with you so you can turn it into Google Classroom. Let's go ahead and take your screenshot. Go back to your document, and on your document, here's my image. You're going to insert yours right here. Again, you just push the plus sign and it will allow you to insert an image. So you'll put yours right down there, and we did an awesome job. Make sure you turn this in Google Classroom so we know to grade it. And reach out if you need any help. You can contact me, Mrs. Anderson, Mr. Baxter, or Mrs. Stahl. Good luck.